Hey guys, so it's a grab bag night here. I've got another channel where I'm doing like more formal videos, but this channel is about just like blasting ideas out there, getting them out, and see what happens. There's this old school theory that that time is like a block or like a map. So you can think of if you took away one of the spatial dimensions of time, the entire universe would be like a map. Or what, if you took away a spatial dimension of the universe, it'd be like a map. And so like I would be here, on the map. Think of time as like a stack of maps in this case. So like past, present, future, people moving around on that map. So if you were intelligent enough, you could, if you were not bound by time in some way, there's lots of fictional places where this happens. Then you could sit outside the stack of time, and you could see everything that was. You could see the present and the past as simultaneous events. There's a theory of time that this is how time works. That time is just this block. Special relativity lends itself well to this understanding of time, but also old school theology. Old school theology says that if God exists, God knows everything. Omniscience means everything that can be known, God knows. And that includes the future. So from our perspective inside the stack, like we look at the future, we can't see that yet because we don't have that perception ability. But if time is just this thing and God is outside looking in at that stack of time, then God knows the future, and that's fine. The reason that this is interesting though, this question, does God know the future, is if God knows the future, does that mean that we don't have the ability to make our own choices? Because there's this human intuition that like, if the future exists already and God already knows what the future is, then we're not picking it. We're not making it happen. We're not choosing it. And I think this is an interesting concept because even if you're not a believer in God at all, the same question comes up in science, which is the universe deterministic? And this question comes up, and it's a battle that has been happening and is happening, which is if the laws of nature, like even if there's no God at all, there's just laws, F equals ma, and F equals KQQ over R squared. There's just laws that determine everything. If I pick up a pencil and drop it, it falls. Isn't that what I am? I'm just matter, following laws, gravity and electromagnetism and the strong force and the weak force and all these things. Those laws are governing me just in the same way. So actually it seems like the same problem exists in science as exists in old school theology, which is if laws of nature govern the universe, then do I actually get to choose my own future? Because it seems like my own future is already determined. There's a lot of different answers to this question that have happened over the years, and some of them, like Sam Harris in his recent book says, oh no, you just don't have free will, and that's fine. Laws of nature says you don't have free will, and so we're okay with that. There's another answer, which is, well, you can have free will and the universe can be determined. That's like compatibilism, or I don't know what the technical name for it is in theology. But the reason I'm making this video is because I think it's cool that in this sort of political era where Republicans and Democrats just friggin' hate each other, the same question seems to be coming up on sort of both sides of the debate, which is that science seems to say that our future is set, and religion, old school religion, seems to say that our future is set. So I don't know the answer to this question, but I want to point at two other things that are fun. On the science side of things, there's a philosopher of physics I just found out about called Janan Ismail, and she wrote a recent book called How Physics Makes Us Free. Working on it now. I'll let you guys know my thoughts when I finish. And then on the religion side of things, there's a theologian called John Sanders, and he is making arguments for something called the open future, that God actually chooses not to know the future because God wants us to be free. So I just think it's interesting that we have this same fundamental question, like, do humans have the ability to choose things? And that same fundamental question is coming up both in the religious domain and the science domain. And people are answering that question both in the religious domain and in the science domain. I think that's cool. So let me know your thoughts downstairs. What do you think? Is the future set? Do we have the ability to determine our own future, or is our future determined for us? Do you think that the religious folks are right? Do you think that the science folks are right? And what do you know about Jen Ismail and John Sanders? All right, thanks so much, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.